More and more NFL players and other professional athletes have been protesting the national anthem. And the man that started this recent trend, Colin Kaepernick, is still not standing. And while people have blown up about him sitting and kneeling, and others have been burning his jersey, which we will talk about later, what seems to have gotten lost in this whole incident is the reason why he is not standing in the first place.
I mean, ultimately, it's to bring awareness and make people, realize what's really going on in this country. There are a lot of things that are going on that are unjust, people aren't being held accountable for, and that's something that needs to change. There's a lot of things that need to change. One specifically is police brutality. There's people being murdered unjustly and not being held accountable. Cops are getting paid leave for killing people. And I've seen videos, I've seen circumstances where men and women that have been in the military have come back and been treated unjustly by the country they fought for.
Even though Kaepernick's hairstyle makes him look like the light-skinned version of Marv from Home Alone, he makes a lot of valid statements. Some people are not getting justice in this country. Police brutality does exist, and all kinds of people continue to be oppressed despite what some may think. Speaking your mind and taking a stance, that's a piece of the foundation America is built on. But when you speak your mind and you are misinformed about the issue you are speaking on, that's when it becomes a problem. And since Kaepernick has taken his seat, he has been getting roasted by all kinds of people. But one voice in particular has been a bit louder than others, and I'll let Jim Carrey warn you.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
See, our buddy Colin decided not to stand for the national anthem because, well, he will not stand to show pride in a flag or a country that oppresses black people. For him, it's bigger than football.
Yes. My bud, Tomi Lahren, who I called out over her ignorant remarks on a previous episode of the show when she compared Black Lives Matter to the KKK. And due to that, she ended up blocking me on Twitter. Real mature, you cootie queen. With the recent Kaepernick video, she is proving once again ignorance is at an all-time high. So let's go over her clips and break it down. Or how about we use her own words to describe this segment?
So let me go ahead and eviscerate this mouth diarrhea for you sentence by sentence. Here we go.
Okay, enlighten us.
According to Kaepernick, there are bodies in the street and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder. And Colin, who's getting away with murder? I'd like to see some evidence to back that up.
Oh, sure. I'm glad you asked, Tommy. Do you remember Freddie Gray, the guy who had his spine severed while in police custody and later died? Guess what happened to those officers? They got suspended with paid leave while an investigation was launched, then were later acquitted on all charges. Tamir Rice was shot and killed, and guess what happened to that officer? Paid leave, then later acquitted on all charges. The officer that shot Philando Castile, he is currently on paid leave while an investigation takes place. Will that officer get charged? Who knows at this point, but it wouldn't be surprising to see him walk clean, because if you can choke an unarmed man to death on camera in public and not be charged for it, then it's a definite possibility. And not only do you get paid leave for choking someone to death, but the guy who killed Eric Gardner ended up getting a pay raise as well.
It's this country, the country that you have so much disdain for, that allows you the right to speak your mind. It protects your right to be a whiny, indulgent, attention-seeking crybaby.
Come on, Tommy. You calling someone else a whiny, attention-seeking crybaby would be like Sam Cassell calling someone else ugly, or Bill Cosby saying, hey, this drink sure does taste funny.
And Colin, if this country disgusts you so much, leave. I guarantee there are thousands and thousands of people around the world that would gladly take your spot.
Oh, well, that's nice of you, Tommy. You must be for immigration then. I'm sure some people from Syria, like this little boy, would want to come to America and enjoy... Wait. What?
Let's talk about immigration, because I, quite frankly, am tired of pressing too. I say, build that wall, build it tall, and lock the damn door to the Syrian refugees. Is our country perfect? No. But what have you done to make it better? What's your contribution? Sitting there like a fool?
Out of curiosity, I searched Colin Kaepernick and charity to see if he was doing anything to help the community. And check this out. He supports a charity called Camp Taylor that helps young kids with heart disease. However, when I replaced Kaepernick with your name, Tommy, nothing came up about charity or community work. In fact, on the same page, a petition popped up about how people want to get you fired. And what about this sitting down aspect? Are you not sitting down as you deliver your message as well? Either that's the back of a chair you're sitting in, or you have the ugliest damn tumor growing out of your spine that I have ever seen.
And Colin, how dare you sit there and blame white people for the problems of minority communities?
I went back and got the full text of Kaepernick's statement of why he was sitting, and if you flip through this entire thing, not once does he mention white people. In fact, the only thing white about Kaepernick's statement is this paper I printed it out on.
And what about the oppression of black people? It's funny. Through that 6-year career of yours, you choose to start sitting now? What changed to make you so resentful of your country?
Well, here are a few things that might have started this feeling for Kaepernick, and let me see if I can do this in one breath. High altitude, mind you. Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Tamir Rice, Laquan McDonald, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, Philando Castile, Dontre Hamilton, John Crawford III, Rumain Bibson, Jermaine Reed, Tony Robinson, Philip White, Dante Parker, Tanisha Anderson, Eric Harris, Terrell Thomas, Alfred Alongo, and Terrence Crutcher. Woo!
But perhaps you should stand up for the anthem.
Or perhaps if you're so offended by someone sitting during the national anthem, you should move to North Korea, a country that makes flag appreciation mandatory. Because, you know, if you want mandatory flag appreciation, then you should
leave.
What about people who can't stand? Do they bother you as well? Then Stephen Hawking has been offending people since 1969. Tomi Kaepernick has the freedom to protest, which you mentioned, and what gives us those freedoms? Our right to freedom of speech. And guess who protects that right? The military. They fought and continue to fight for us to be able to protest. And the flag doesn't just represent the military, it represents America as a whole. Disagreeing with things going on in America doesn't make you anti-American. Burning American flags like Dylan Roof does. And why were you not up in arms about that? Mr. Spray tanning Cheeto dust molded into the form of a human body who you support didn't put his hand over his heart during the anthem at the GOP debates. And according to the national anthem etiquette, that is seen as disrespectful. Where's the outrage over that? Now I can see why some military personnel might be offended about Kaepernick, even though he said he wasn't trying to offend any of them. And yes, you did highlight military members who were upset. But guess what? You never got the other side of the coin, because a lot of people from the military didn't have an issue with Kaepernick. And after all this, you know what should be considered more offensive to the military? Sending the military off to unnecessary wars that are fueled by greed where they can die. Or the fact that America doesn't take care of their vets when they come back from their tours. Or the fact that their health care is that of a third world country. Where's the outrage over that? Where's the outrage over Carl Lewis, whose rendition of the national anthem was so bad, he made Corey Feldman's recent Today Show performance sound like a banger?
Say, can you see? And the Rockets, red flag. I'll make up for it now.
Where's the outrage over the fact that the national anthem's third verse has a terrible line about slaves, or the person who wrote the national anthem was quoted as saying black people were a distinct and inferior race of people? I guess I can kind of see why black people might have a problem standing for the national anthem. But no. You want to live in a country where you perpetuate the outrage over a man protesting the national anthem. While Terrence Crutcher, with his hands up, just got shot after his car broke down, but a racist kid kills 9 people in a church and then gets taken to Burger King afterwards. Where a man gets choked to death on the street corner for selling cigarettes, but in the same state, another plants bombs all throughout the city, has a shootout with cops, and still alive to this day. Then you want to question why people might be upset over that? You refuse to see the other side because you just want to race bait for ratings, clicks, and retweets. So continue to be a hypocritical, misinformed, closed-minded, ignorant, whiny blabbermouth who wants to live in a country run by white domination, where people talk down on others for standing up against injustice, and where it's okay for you to hold a toy gun, but not a 12-year-old boy playing in the park. But what else should you expect from someone who grew up in Rapid City, South Dakota, where black people make up 1.1% of the total population? The only time you ever saw a black person in your city is when someone from Chicago traveled too far west. I also saw that you have a degree from UNLV, and what's funny about that is you're the epitome of what Jay-Z once said. You can pay for school, but you can't buy class. So how about you take some
responsibility
for all the ignorance that spews out of your mouth? And for all you idiots that cheered for Kaepernick's jersey being burned, I have a ceremony outside I'd like for you to see. Well, welcome to the ceremony that I wanted you to see. And, you know, I got to thinking, while people were burning Colin Kaepernick's jersey, aren't there other NFL players more deserving of having their jerseys burned? So we at 2 Cent Beatdown wanted to start that trend. First up, we got former safety Darren Sharper, who was recently convicted for raping 16 women and is currently in prison because of that. Nobody was burning his jersey, they were burning Colin Kaepernick's jersey. Well, until now. Woo! Woo! See you later, Darren. Okay, next up, we got Giants kicker Josh Brown, who was recently suspended 1 game for domestic violence this season. Nobody got mad about that. They were mad about Colin Kaepernick. Well, time to burn his jersey as well. Whew. Some other NFL player jerseys you could burn. How about Greg Hardy for domestic violence? How about Bruce Miller, who recently punched a 70-year-old person for no apparent reason? How about Jay Cutler, because he sucks? I would like to burn one more thing, if you don't mind. And I think some people will appreciate that. Woo! Sorry, Tommy. You had it coming, though. See ya, Tommy. You know what, Tommy? If you're watching this video and this makes you angry, good, because I want it to. Because now you know how minorities and non-ignorant white people feel when they watch your videos. God bless America.